So a few days ago, I had finished reading "Walk Two Moons" by Sharon Creech. This was on my 24 of 424 reading list. So basically, I forgot who started it, but on YouTube, BookTube, whatever you want to call it, there was a thing called 24 and 24. So that was to read 24 banned or challenged books in the year 2024. And I went and looked up, some books that have been challenged and ones that sounded interesting to me, ones, about different cultures and stuff that I wanted to learn more about, one, upping my reading, expanding on genre, and obviously, of course, diversifying my reading. Because, there's some goals that I've had to just expand my reading and expand my knowledge of the world and stuff, as you should. So I was looking forward to reading this book, and I don't hate it. I don't absolutely love it. Does it have rereadability? In some aspects. I did enjoy the character, and so from the main character's point of view, I did enjoy the writing style. The audiobook is I think 3 hours long. It's a very short story. In some ways, I thought there could have been a little bit more, but I did enjoy the story, the storytelling aspect of it. I enjoyed the voice of the character. It flowed pretty well. I'm going to tell you briefly what it's about, and then I will get into some of the issues that I had with this story. So, what is the story about? The story is about a girl named Sal, which, hopefully I'm pronouncing it right, is short for Salamanca, or Manca, I believe. She's mainly referred to as Sal. And for personal reasons, inner turmoil, inner demons, whatever you want to call it. I mean, this is like a middle grade book, so they don't go too deep into things. Her mother has left the family. They're not, if I remember correctly, divorced or anything, but because of personal things she's dealing with, the mother decides to leave. And basically, the plot is the grandparents taking Sal to see her mother. And while they are on their road trip, Sal entertains her grandparents with a story about a girl named Phoebe that she knew, at her school, her hometown or whatever. And as the story goes on, you see the connections between Phoebe's story and Sal's story and what's really going on. So I love those stories about, discovering, the truth about life, right? Those slice of life stories, road trip kind of things, just discovering who you are and how things work, and ideas and philosophy and that kind of thing, right? Because I love John Green books, and I love Stargirl and some other things like that, right? So basically contemporary. This is what it is, a YA, not YA, but middle grade, contemporary, realistic fiction. So I love those kind of stories, and I loved it for that. Like I said, it flowed really well. I like the voice of the character. I like the writing style. That was fantastic, as I've said just a few minutes ago. And I like the basic plot of the story. However, Sal, or Salamanca, is supposed to be an indigenous character, Native American. And I can't remember exactly. I think her father might be white or whatever. So, the indigenous part comes from her mother. And some things just So I read up on this and watched other reviews and whatever interview kind of things, or reviews basically, yeah, of other people's opinions, and they also have issues with this. The issue being that Salamanca is supposed to be named after her tribe, but it's the wrong one. So it's not like the author didn't do research. It's not like that kind of thing, which you can kind of tell she didn't do enough research. But in the story, the mother names her after the wrong tribe. Like, not on purpose. Like, she thought the name was different. And I feel, and I'm not the only one, it doesn't really make sense if you're connected to your heritage, to a culture, that you wouldn't know what it's called. Like, you would get, like, the whole tribe wrong. So that didn't quite make sense. That she would be connected like that and not know that. Also, the fact that her mother preferred the term Indian over Native American. That really didn't make any sense. And I'm not indigenous, or at least not indigenous enough to tell anybody whether or not something is full-on bad representation, but you still can tell when things are not properly researched. And from what I know, from what I read, Sharon Creech is not indigenous, or at least not full-blooded, and I know that doesn't really matter. Quantity and stuff, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is she doesn't seem connected. That's what I'm looking for. That's the word I'm looking for. Because obviously I want to be respectful to people's cultures and in this review. So I think the better the word would be, she doesn't seem connected to that or well researched in that part of her heritage. I know some people are not even fully, they really don't know if she actually has any indigenous heritage in her family. I know in like Wikipedia she's described as basically a white woman, and you know, people just don't like the story, they don't like the representation and everything. So again, I don't know what she is to comment on anything, and again, you don't have to be 100% of anything to learn about that culture. You don't even have to be a part of that culture at all to learn about it. But the thing about it is, there is learning about things respectfully. There is writing about it respectfully, whether you are a part of it or not. But especially if you're not a part of it, because that makes it even worse. But yeah, before I go on a rant, it obviously was not well researched. I like the character, like I said, but some things just rub me the wrong way. Like, that wouldn't happen. That would not happen. Poorly researched. Would I read it again? Maybe if I was bored. It's not the most horrible thing that I've read. Just, I hope the author learned to research things a little bit better. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.